Thank you, Mrs. Campbell, for taking the time for this interview. As we were just saying now, we know you are a very important person in Hong Kong's ballet development. I actually talked to you, I think it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago at the 50th anniversary of the Hong Kong Ballet Group. We were at the Helena May at Admiralty at Central at a very nice place. We will talk a little bit about ballet towards like the later part of this interview.
Okay.
But to start with, we would like to talk a little bit about Western folk dance and its development in Hong Kong. Now, as far as we know, the kind of Western folk dance we are referring to when it first started in Hong Kong is actually Scottish dance. And is our understanding correct?
That is correct. The Scottish Society and what is known as the Highlanders now, they held classes on a Monday evening, and when I first came here, they had them at Union Church in Kennedy Road.
When you first came here, when was that?
1954.
1954. Oh, I remember you came here because of your husband.
No. I hadn't I hadn't married my husband then.
I got
No.
my memory is poor.
No. You're right in the fact that it was a boyfriend. It was a boyfriend who was working for the Hong Kong Shanghai Bank, and he met Carol Bateman, who was looking for somebody to join her school. She was a Russian dancer. She came down from Shanghai, and she taught Greek dancing and Cecchetti and Russian ballet.
You mean Miss Bateman?
Miss Bateman, yes.
I didn't know Miss Bateman is a Russian.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Actually, you've got the book in there. I brought it for you.
Okay. So she came down from Shanghai, and she was teaching Greek.
And she started the school that I have in the Helena May in 1948. And so she heard about the Royal Academy of Dance, and she thought that this is what Hong Kong needed. And so she offered me a 2-year contract.
Yes.
So I came out in October '54, and the boyfriend that I had then was rather demanding, but the bank very kindly posted him to India. So I was so I'm afraid we parted then. And then the following year I met my husband, and we got married in 1956. But then I must say, he did a very noble thing. He left the bank because the bank had a rule. You must not marry in the first 5 years of service.
Oh, why?
And this was a little difficult because my husband's parents, his father was manager of the Hong Kong Shanghai Bank in Shanghai. And their big friends were the Turners, who were the manager of the Hong Kong Shanghai Bank here. So it was rather difficult. But anyway, he was determined, and he left the bank. And I must say, it all sorted out with his mother. His father had passed away, and Lady Turner was the first person to come and visit me in hospital when I had my first son. So wow. It had a nice...
How amazing.
And I must say, my husband lived his life for me. We did everything together. So...
wow, he must have loved you so much.
Yeah, we were very much so. But unfortunately, 20 years ago, he passed away, which is very sad.
Yes,
but I still have happy memories.
Yes, true. So back in 1954, you mentioned that they were giving evening classes on Monday at the Union Church.
Yes.
Who were the teachers?
They were just I'm not sure, I cannot remember who they were. There were a lady and a gentleman who gave the instructions for you to do, and I would say there were about 40 or more people that came to St Andrews in Kennedy Road there. And I think we'd only been going 2 weeks when suddenly my husband and I were told, you look after that set and you look after that set. So we were helping out. Today, I still go on a Monday evening to the cricket club where the Highlanders have a Scottish evening.
Oh, okay.
And if you know anybody who likes Scottish dancing, it's very casual, very easy to follow, very happy evening, 2 hours, 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And we do different reels each week.
Wow, sounds interesting.
It's great fun. It really is, you know.
So back then, in the 50s, it all started like a social gathering, or because Scottish people, they get together.
And we had St Andrews Ball.
Yeah,
so we all went.
So I would
in those days to the peninsula.
Wow.
Yes.
So I would assume the people there were all Scottish?
No. Very, very mixed from all different countries. We went there. It was a social evening.
Yeah.
People who like to dance went up there.
Yeah.
Some people went because it was exercise. Some people went because a friend was going. All different reasons for going.
Okay.
Of course, there were quite a number of Scottish people there.
And who else besides Scottish? Any Chinese there?
Yes, there were.
Oh,
Yes.
good.
There were not that many Chinese then, but there were certainly quite a few. But mostly European.
Okay.
But they came from Germany and Belgium, Europe.
So it's like a weekly gathering for
A weekly gathering,
yeah,
yes.
for those should I say the more wealthy people?
No, because it didn't cost very much for an evening. I cannot remember how much, because when I found a booklet of my husband's, when we were married, we only had something like $2,500 to live on, right? But we had a flat that was 3,000 square feet. It was, I don't know, you probably never knew it, but in May Road there was a place called Sapakan. It was Branksome Towers. Now it is a huge thing, but we had 3,000 square feet there. We, on St Andrew's night, which was my husband's birthday, had 3 sets, 24 people, and we would do Scottish dancing and eat haggis, neeps and tatties. So it was that big. But when I say 2005, we lived very luxuriously on so little. So, I mean, I really don't know whether we paid $5 or what just for the evening. Now, if you're a member of the Highlanders, you pay $50. If you're a visitor, I think you pay $70. But it still goes on. And they also meet on a Wednesday for those who are perfectionists, because they do demonstrations like at Stanley, when they have a fair, Stanley Fair, they go and they demonstrate things like that.
There's a small performing group.
A small performance group, yes. But it's still going, and of course St Andrew's Ball is still going every year.
Yeah, so it wasn't really a class. It was just like an evening recreation.
Yes, with instructors. Because Scottish dancing, you have a partner, and you normally got 4 sets. And you start the Scottish dance, 2 people at the head of the group which is nearest to the music. They do whatever the sequence is, and they end at the bottom, and then the second group repeat, then the third group repeat, then the fourth group.
Like a canon.
So yeah, they progress to the end, and at the end of the fourth group the music finishes.
Okay.
So it's usually you walk it through before the music, and everybody knows the steps, whether they're doing a setting step or whether they're doing a progressive step, and whether they poussette or whatever it might be, you know. And so they have their own right-handers and left-handers. And
so it's just actually there's the way that the folk dance works. Yeah. You don't need the teachers for folk dance.
no, you just need somebody to call it out and to follow that way.
Like
A little bit like square dancing.
Yes.
You know, in America you have a caller and he'll say do-si-do or whatever. It's a little bit like that. But anybody who's got a little bit of rhythm can do it. If you haven't got any rhythm, then it's a little bit difficult.
Was it a very large group of people dancing? Like many people?
I would say we must have been 40, 50 people. It always seemed to be very crowded.
Every week?
Yeah.
Wow, always the same group of people?
No. I mean, basically, yes. But there were always people who just visiting Hong Kong, and somebody's gone away on holiday, and so it changes. It's just like now, you never know whether you're going to be one set or four sets.
Why would you never know whether it's...
Because you don't put your name down and say, I'm coming next week. When you say, you finish the Monday evening, everybody says, good night, hope to see you next week. But nobody knows how many people. And quite often, somebody will look on the internet to see, and they will come. One time we had 8 students come just to have a look to see what it was like.
So that's why now people can check it out on the internet.
Sure. You can see where it is, and it's at the cricket club.
Yeah,
on a Monday
I
evening.
know the cricket club. Yeah. But back then you didn't have internet. So how do people know about this?
By word of mouth.
Yes. So obviously this dancing has helped bring in new people, and so they know about Scottish dance. And
Sure, people wanted to know about it, and
so how do you find the newcomers? How the reception of Scottish dance? Do they like? Well, obviously they like it. They enjoy it. That's why they come.
I'm going to say they come because they want to have some enjoyment. It's fun.
Yeah. But
You've got a partner, and you.
Do they know the partners? Or they
No, we change partners every time.
Ah, that's exciting.
The gentleman always goes and asks a different lady every dance.
Oh.
So we've got a different.
That's why people coming.
Yeah, but like say, how about the Chinese? This is a Western dance. So how do the Chinese find the Western dance?
If they've got rhythm, they can follow beautifully. Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah, there's no problem. The problem is if you cannot hear the beat of the music.
Oh, okay. So you were there being one of the people dancing, enjoying yourselves. But just now you also said later on you become a dance instructor.
Yeah, they asked if we were, well, not just, well, because if you've got somebody in a group that doesn't know it very well, and that person knows it, they are able to say hands across or whatever it might be. And then the person second, you can call it out for them. And so it helps. If there's somebody there and 8 people don't know what they're doing, then it's a little difficult. So they used to try and have the top 2 to be secure in the dance, and help that set, you know.
I
So,
see.
so it meant that we actually went very regularly.
you and your husband
Yeah.
went very regularly, and you became one of the people telling others.
Helping the others, yes.
Yeah.
But it was great fun, and it's great fun today. Yeah.
So, have you ever been a formal teacher in a Western dance class? You mentioned that at the Hong Kong University you have a group of students.
With Western folk dance, yes.
Yes. Can you tell us about that?
Now, I'm trying to think how all this came up. I don't know, but I remember that in my early days, we definitely were doing Western folk dance at Hong Kong U, and a lot of the students were interested in folk dancing. I cannot remember which year it was that the ISDD were interested in coming to Hong Kong, and Pearl Chan brought the examiner out, and I provided her with the students for examinations. And those people that actually took their exam there, I'm not sure if it was 2 or 3 couples actually got married, and they are still teaching voluntary. I mean, it's not their professional job. Western national dance.
So your experience as a teacher of Western folk dance is mostly with the University of Hong Kong.
Well, with the students there, and then I went to, now, is it Anne Black? No, there was another group that I went to, another university that I went to. I'd have to ask Fred. But I went there and I actually gave lectures there, and I actually gave them the history of dance as well. I did quite a bit.
Oh, it would be so great if we found out which school and around what time.
Oh my goodness me. I tell you, my memory's not very good.
Take your time. Try.
I'll let you know if I can remember. That,
Yeah.
but yes, some take it more seriously than the others. But the group that originally were at the Hong Kong U and then came to my studio to learn and did the examinations, they are still there encouraging people to do Western folk.
Were they students of the university?
They were students at the university, yes.
Why would they be interested in Western folk dance in the first place? How do they get to
I think it was a social evening. It was a social something to do. In those days, there was very little to do. Right? We didn't have many cinemas, and certainly we didn't have live performances. And I think 1 or 2 people were enthusiastic and got a group together and said, well, let's do some folk dancing.
Okay.
And so we did. And as I say, when the ISDD started, then more it grew and grew. And in '64 we started the Schools Dance Festival.
Yeah. What did you teach them?
Sorry?
What did you teach? There are many different kinds of Western folk dance. So what actually did you teach these students at the university?
Well, yeah, we were on the roof. The thing is, basically with folk dancing, you learn the basic steps. And there might be 4 or 5 basic steps. So you have to teach those first of all. And then you try it with the music. Once you get that, then you put it into pattern. And then, as now, most of them know a lot, so they can choreograph their own dance from that country using the special steps of that country.
So was it like Hungarian dance or
Yes.
Russian?
Oh, they loved Russian dancing because in those days it was a lot of go-pack dancing and jumping up. And of course, when they did it on the stage, everybody was out there going, wow, wow, wow. And so they loved to do that. Yes, there was a lot of Russian dancing.
Which country was the most popular?
Well, I think for the boys, Russia.
Yeah. It's like a lot of energy and very. Yeah. How about the girls? What do they like?
Sorry?
The girls, what do they like?
I don't really know if they had any preference. I think they just wanted to look nice and move and have a partner to dance with.
Then what is your favorite?
What is my favorite? I don't really have any favorite. I like it all. No, I enjoy dance as a whole. The only thing nowadays I'm not very au fait with jazz and contemporary so, but when you get to the real jazz, I have to admit I can't understand it. That's the trouble. When somebody says to me, you do this and that's going along a wall or something and doing this, no, I'm sorry. But the young love it, so.
I see. So the Pearl Chan brought the ISTD examiners to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Why did she do that?
Well, she was brought up under the ISTD regulations and their dance theme, and she knew that I was doing it, and she also was doing it. I think at St Mary's school. She was doing.
What school was it?
I think it was St Mary's in Kowloon.
Oh, okay.
And so when the opportunity came that, we could have exams, she thought, well, let's try. And so we did, and we're still having exams today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you have to pay to go into the exam? Do you have to pay an examination
Yes.
fee? Was that
Quite expensive.
How much?
Now,
Back then, did you remember how much was that?
not back, no, because the money was different in those days, as I say. So it was not too expensive.
That's why I wonder who could afford to go to the examinations back then. It must be the
No,
girls
in
from
proportion. I mean, I'm not sure how much they are now. I have nothing to do with money. I do not like money. I'm sorry. I can't live without it, I know. But I've never taken that sort of interest. My husband always did it. Now my secretaries do it, not me. Not for that. But no, I mean, even the children for ballet exams, they pay $1,000 to take an exam. I mean, it's pretty. Probably in our day it was about $100, you know.
Yeah. The reason why I asked the money is because I am interested to know who could afford to go to the exams and why would they do that? Because is it because they can become a dance teacher and make a living afterwards, or the general situation?
I think A, it was because they were enthusiastic about dance. B, they wanted to learn more. And C, when we got the exams, they could take an associate exam, which is a junior teacher's exam. And a lot of them were PE teachers, and therefore at school that gave them extra credit. And gradually they have increased in their knowledge, and they now choreograph their own dances for the festivals and things. And I think it's enthusiasm for doing dances from other countries, and they're also jolly and they're also happy and they're fun.
Do you think this the ISTD and its popularity has really helped the Western folk dance to grow in the schools in Hong Kong? Do you think there's a relationship?
To begin with, yes. Now, no. Because I think it's grown. It goes by word of mouth, you know, and so I teach you, you teach you, and you go on. And so it has grown so much. And everybody now who does PE and that, they all do folk dancing. You know, they all do the... And it's offered in schools all the time. And I mean, it was started in 1964, as I said, to encourage people. And we only had 2 days then. We've had 5 weeks this year.
Wow.
Yes, and I mean, sometimes we're seeing 30, 35 schools in a day. So, I mean, it was really grown. And they have so many different sections now. They've got Chinese classical, Chinese folk, and they've got modern, they've got... You name it, they have now included it. Whereas originally it was only Western. And I think I'm right in saying the first set, other than to join in after the inaugural groups, were the slightly handicapped children. I remember we had 4 boys in a wheelchair doing a waltz. It was fantastic. And then we also had blind children who you saw touching each other to keep their formation and doing it. And we had those slightly medium autistic, and we'd have 2 teachers here and 2 teachers there on the stage while they danced to make sure they didn't do anything. And I mean, it was so moving in those days. Now we expect them to come and we want them, you know, but in those days it was, oh, how wonderful. And it was, and I mean, the teachers were absolute angels. They had the patience with them, but it gave them something they could do the same as others, you know. In fact, I wish it was more. But I do realize it does take a lot of time, patience to get something ready for a competition. But I think actually in their schools they do quite a lot. But that's where folk dance is so good, because they can join in and do things.
Yes. It's like the people with disabilities. It's very hard for them to join other kinds of dance, but they can join folk dance. They can be part of it, and that's very important for them.
It's wonderful. I mean, it really is. It makes you understand the human person better. You know that.
Are these disabled people still joining the school?
Sorry?
Those people with disabilities, do they still join the school dance festival now?
A few of them do, yes. We still have a few.
That's good.
That's what I say. I wish it was more, but I do understand it does take that much longer to get ready for a competition.
I see.
So, yeah.
So, Mrs. Campbell, were you involved in the setting up of the school dance festival back in 1964?
Indirectly, but the person in charge of the PE section of the schools was Angus Campbell, and I'm not quite sure how Betty Mayer came into it, whether she was his right-hand lady, but she was mostly for swimming, but she had something to do with it.
She was with swimming?
Yes. Betty Mayer.
Yeah. What do you mean by she's got to do with?
Well, she was more for organising swimming competitions and things like that. But she had an interest in the school's dance festival.
So the festival was advocated by the education department.
Yes.
The PE session.
Yeah.
Why were they interested in coming up with a school dance festival?
I think maybe Angus was a person who liked athletics, and he enjoyed Scottish dancing, of course, because he was a Scotsman.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But during talks that we had, we said it would be nice to get people together, and his department then set about seeing how they could offer it to schools. And so it was, as I say, started in a very limited 2-day project. And then it's grown and grown and grown.
Yeah. So Angus is also a Campbell. Are
Yes.
you in any sense related?
You know, Angus was quite a stocky person, okay?
Most
I'm
Scottish
quite,
too.
I am stocky, I mean by, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm quite plump. Angus's wife is very slim, a tiny lady, Peggy, and my husband was tall and slim. And the number of times that we were taken, because often we were out together.
Yeah.
And so, don't worry. We had great fun together, yes.
Yeah.
So we did, yes, I had quite a lot to do with him, and the, if he wanted any ideas of that, we would do that. So I think his out thing, more people should learn, more people should have the opportunity. Music is happiness, and give, and so that's how it all began.
Yeah, because it's easy to come up with an idea, but to actually
Put it in motion, yes.
and to schools, to all the schools, and you have to motivate the teachers and the students. It took a lot of effort, and it took some money also and time. So he must.
It did take money, but not extortionate money. I mean,
it takes a lot of resolution and his goodwill and dedication to get it rolling year after year. So
it's grown gradually. I mean, we're 50 odd years old now. We've had our 50th anniversary, and it really is very, very big.
So when it first started in like 1964 or 65, what schools, what kind of schools joined?
We had a few from the primary, and then we had the medium, and then government schools, yes. And we had secondary schools, and there was a very what should I say, well-known boys' school here. And wow, could they dance. They always did just a dance for boys. And I think it was a Polish dance they did with chairs. And they sat on the chair and they worked around, they jumped on the chairs. But they always brought the house down. They were really amazing. They had an amazing teacher. And he could always give them something very spectacular to do. And I think people came to watch, and they thought, oh, this is quite interesting, quite good. And so the next year there were more, and then there were more. And so it's very well run now, and
and so more people are interested, and they learn and they join.
I cannot remember. I should remember, but I can't. One year they actually went to dance at the Edinburgh Festival.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That was but that was like towards 1980, 1970.
Yeah, something like that.
1976
Yeah.
or so.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Which was great that Hong Kong group should go and dance, and the tattoo there, because the tattoo is really something. And that was a great thing for them.
So since the very beginning, you have been a panelist you have been a judge for the school dance festival. Have you?
I was, yeah, there were three of us to begin with. The other two ladies are no longer with us, but yes.
Who are the other two ladies?
The terrible part is I cannot remember their names.
Okay.
There were two other.
Let's skip it.
There were two other, and unfortunately, when Angus left, he didn't live that much longer,
Oh.
and so he passed away, and so I've got nobody to ask. Nobody can remember. But there were two other English ladies. We were three, but they only did it for that maybe 2-3 years, and then they went. And then Jean Wong came in, and Christine Liao, and you know.
We know Betty. She's now living in Australia.
Australia, yes.
But she does come to Hong Kong like every few years.
Well, she came for the 50th anniversary.
Yeah, and we heard she came here 2 years ago as one of the panelists.
As
for
one
the-
of
at the judges for the school dance festival 2 years ago. That's what we heard.
I didn't. She came for the school's dance festival 50th anniversary. She was for the big celebration. She was here,
Also,
and she attended. I don't think she was a judge, but no.
Probably
No, she was a
probably that
guest.
was the occasion. Yes. And but she spent her time in Australia now.
Yeah.
Oh, too bad. Otherwise, we could have also talked to her. So so you didn't. I mean, you later on became a ballet teacher, more
No.
than a Western folk teacher. Is that?
In UK, I was trained at a very famous ballet school called Elmhurst, and they were really classical. And I stayed on there, and I was trained as a teacher, so I taught there until I came here. And so, according to my mother, I said when I was about 10 years old, I'm going to teach. I'm not going on the stage, I want to teach. And I've taught ever since. So I made up my mind.
Yes, at a very young age.
Yes.
How did you get to know Jean and Christine?
Because they were my students when I came.
Okay. Yes, and so later on in the 60s, you started the ballet group together.
Yes, the whole idea of the ballet group was that all the schools should get together and give their students an opportunity to dance on the stage together. And that's why we started. Because when I came, it was very difficult for me to talk with other teachers, because I come out for this school and it wasn't quite the right thing to do, to be with other teachers. But once we started the exams in 56, there were two other teachers and myself. One was Paddy Cook, Trisha Denham, and the other one was Angela. She was working for Swires at the time. Anyway, there were three of us, and between us we put in 120 students. And I think this year there was something like 40,000. But that's great, because it means they went out, they enjoyed their ballet, they want to go on, and they became teachers and spread their wings, and their students have done so. But it all started at the Helena May.
So how did you create opportunities for these girls to perform? You just said there were very little chances for them to perform. So how did you do that?
Well, to begin with, Carol Bateman looked after that. And the Helena May in those days had a stage.
Oh, it did.
And so we could give little performances on the stage. And then people like Rotary Club had balls, and they would invite us to go and take students to dance as their entertainment. And we would visit a hospital, or if there was a fair going on, we might do a dance at fair. So yes, there wasn't that much to do, but we tried to generate, and we've always given one school show every year. So and that started on the Helena May stage, but now we go to a theatre. So
yeah, of course you do. Yes.
so and we do it each year, and the children love it.
Yeah. So in the 60s, when the girls go out and do the ballet dance and stay in a hospital or at a fair, so most of the audience were Chinese.
Yes.
Is that right? So how?
But they were Chinese a lot, but there were also a lot of Europeans. I mean, in those days, when I first came, there were only about 1 million people here, and everyone knew everyone.
Really?
Yes. And it was very easy for me to go out with my husband, because he knew he would have all his work people, and I would know the art side, but we were always together, so we knew everybody, and it was a joy to go out. When I became chairman of the Commonwealth Society, that was 12 years ago, I think, it was very difficult for me, because I had to go out and meet all the business people, and I'm not a business person. So I found that part, I mean, I enjoyed doing what I could for the Commonwealth Society, but it was very difficult for me, not being a banker or a financier, that. And now, people in the arts seem to tend together. There are too many of us now to mix. Whereas in my husband's day, we knew everybody, and everybody would go to all, and it was very formal.
Very formal.
Very formal. Yeah.
Even at the ballet performance you were saying, like at a fair or at a gathering, that was very formal as well?
That not so much, no, that was more relaxed, but if I had to accompany my husband, it was very formal.
Oh, definitely, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I remember when we got married, he turned around to me and he said, I know that you enjoy dancing and teaching, and I will allow you to continue, but at 6:30 at night, you are my wife. So I said, okay, that's fine. I said, I'll make a deal. You pick me up in the car, and I will change in the back of the car.
Well, you have very fixed working hours. From 6:30 in the evening, you are the wife.
Yes.
In the daytime, you're the teacher.
Yes. So I used to, because in 1964 I actually had a kindergarten.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, please tell us about that.
Well, it was in the old garden terrace building, which again had this 3,000 square feet, beautiful. And I had the roof, so the whole of the top was like a park. I had slides and what have you in it. We had 5 classes, about 100 children.
Wow.
And yeah, that was fun. That took all my mornings.
And you taught them ballet, of course?
No,
you didn't?
I strummed on the piano and taught them nursery rhymes. And at Christmas time, we did a lovely Christmas play, and they learned all the carols and things like that. I didn't teach them ballet, no. If they wanted ballet, they would come to the Helena May.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I'm interested in how the general audience like those people when you go onto a performance, especially in a hospital, for example. I think not many people have actually seen a live ballet dance before.
Well, no, it's just children that came skipping in and gave a flower or said hello. It was just something. And those that were able were brought in their wheelchairs, and then they did a little dance for those. But those who were bedridden, you only went and said hello. Just
so it was not those kind of
it was no
real performance.
Not a big performance. No.
The real performance only were at Helena May at the stage there, and every year you did one larger
That's
performance.
right, yeah.
Who came to watch the performance?
Mostly the parents and the children's relatives came, and also outside people would buy tickets to go. So now we're at Y Square, so Y Square sell the tickets for us.
Yeah.
We were at the City Hall for many years.
I see. Can you tell us a little bit more about the scholarship of the Hong Kong Ballet Group? I think it was in the 1970s after Miss Fontaine visited Hong Kong, and a scholarship was set up, and like Yuri, he got the scholarship and he got a chance to study
That's right,
overseas.
yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about how you got the idea and how you got the money for the scholarship?
We had a performance in the 70s for the ballet group, and Dame Margot became our president, and she sent out a gentleman by the name of David Blair to choreograph Giselle for us, right? This person, we had the Lee Theatre.
Yeah.
Right? Lee Theatre. Dame Margot brought with her a gentleman from Germany called Heinz Bosel. 6 months after he had danced for us, he died from leukemia. Then put the money forward and said she would like a scholarship in the name of Heinz Bosel. And so for many years we had a scholarship. And I was very proud, because the first person to get the scholarship was a student of mine, Cliff Loy, who made a dancing career and did well. But I can't remember, in that book it will tell you how many people got the scholarship. I think we probably had 10. Every year we would have this competition, and we would have outside judges, and they would choose one person. It was usually through the performance, the way they acted with other people, and whether they were sociable, and whether their standard of dance was high enough, and that sort of thing. Many things were taken into consideration.
But later on, the scholarship stopped.
That's right, yes. And now they do, because they felt that to send somebody overseas for one whole year was very expensive, and we should offer it to more people. So now they have what they call awards. And some children can win a scholarship to go to a summer school overseas, and they have different awards now, so that it doesn't go, because it was very expensive.
So instead of one person spending a big chunk of money, they gave it to. Was there a lot of people trying to get the scholarship?
Of course, everybody was eager. In those days, people were more dedicated. They really wanted something, because there wasn't that much outside activity to take you away. I'm dancing. Nowadays, people are not. I'll say that for my granddaughter. She's very dedicated at the moment, but she's rather big. She's taller than me, but she's very dedicated and works very hard. But there aren't so many people dedicated now. And it was very difficult for the Chinese people too, because they always say the education comes first, which is true. You've got to be educated. But even now, I mean, in my day, you didn't have to have a degree to be a teacher of dance. Today you have to, so it's...
It's more difficult now, more competition, a lot more competition now.
Yeah, but I think now people need to have more background and more knowledge of things, because sometimes you get a teacher that's not very musical. She needs to hear and doesn't know the different 3/4 timings and things like that. There's quite a lot to be learnt.
Sure.
And you really need to be an assistant or watch somebody to learn from that person. So now there's sort of a 3-year course which hopefully gives them a good training.
Hopefully.
Well, in my day, what we did was we took what they called an advanced teacher's certificate. It took 3 days to do. Sat there answering questions, and then you had to make something up, and then you have to know the syllabus. And
in the UK or in Hong Kong?
I did it in Hong Kong.
The advanced teacher.
Advanced teacher's certificate. Yeah.
Wow. Was it an RAD thing?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's RAD.
Okay.
So.
I see. I want to ask Mrs. Campbell about the times when the government decided to set up professional dance companies. That was like around the 70s, early.
We had the Hong Kong Ballet.
The Hong Kong Ballet was formed in 1980s, but they have been talking about forming professional companies for a long time. Were you involved in that?
No, we were involved with the Hong Kong Ballet as it is today, because it used to have also another side that was for educating people on ballet. But you're taking me back. I tried to remember. But Kay Jones was one, and somebody else as well. But that was more like APA, educational, that we started, and then the ballet company was on that side, which really should, I think, what should have happened when they had that, they should have kept it and trained the people from that school to be in the ballet company. I am very sad that there are not more Hong Kong people in the ballet company.
Okay, let me try to understand. So back then, the Hong Kong Ballet Company has kind of school.
Yeah, it was, as I remember it, we were in two parts: the non-professional and the professional.
Is it the Hong Kong Youth Ballet
No,
Company?
I can't remember. No,
that one is Helen Lai. No.
No.
Was that before the Hong Kong?
Jean might remember. I can remember being involved in it. And then it was decided it wasn't needed anymore. They would just keep the professional company. But for me, myself, I am very sad that they don't have a side. I feel they should have at least half a dozen Hong Kong ballet girls in training for 6 months. They say Hong Kong dancers aren't as good, but I'm sorry. If you see somebody who is the right shape and the right attitude, the right rhythm and movements and that, you train them for 6 months into your way, you will have them in the company. And I feel it's, you know, sad that Hong Kong girls don't get the chance to go in.
Have you talked to the Hong Kong ballet people about your opinion?
I think they know what I do.
Yeah.
Because I just feel we go so far and then we stop. And I find with Hong Kong ballet that either the quarter ballet is super and they're all together and that, and the soloists aren't quite so good, or the soloists are brilliant and the quarter ballet isn't quite so good. They cannot seem to get anybody to get the two together. But my real grumble is that they don't have it. It's called the Hong Kong ballet. They should have Hong Kong people.
Has it always been the case? Ever since the Hong Kong ballet was established, have they always not taken enough Hong Kong girls, or did it only change at a certain point of time?
No, I don't think it's changed very much.
It has always been like that.
I think to begin with they had a few more, but a lot of the Hong Kong girls that wanted to dance actually went to Europe. You know, and I feel they should have been offered here.
So maybe it's not the Hong Kong ballet's problem, it's the girls, they don't want to stay here.
Well, I don't know. It's two-sided, both ways.
Yeah.
But they say that they don't get the opportunity. I do not really know. But I do feel that a ballet company should have a reserve, half a dozen people who can step into the ballet company if somebody goes sick or if somebody suddenly leaves. That I don't feel that they have the...
I actually agree with you, because these years the Hong Kong ballet, they go to every year they go to New York and do, but maybe not New York, but somewhere in America, and do audition, recruit dancers. I've always wondered why they have to go so far to find dancers there.
No, well, I think it's good they go to other countries. I think it's good for other countries to see that they can dance. I don't think there's anything really wrong in that. I think it's good to open your eyes to what's happening elsewhere. I just feel sorry for the people here. Because I feel there have always been, and there still are, quite a few that could, with 6 months training in a company, do that. My godson is actually an apprentice in the Singapore ballet company.
Oh.
You know, but I don't know that we have any apprenticeships or anything like that here for the Hong Kong student. He's Malay, so he comes into Singapore.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. And that I'm really sorry about that. Because I think we could have a fantastic ballet company. And we've got the backing of government. They've just got to get the right person.
When you say Hong Kong girls, is it more the Chinese girls? Will the European girls?
Some of the Chinese girls are beautiful.
Yeah, I know. So my question was, maybe the European girls in Hong Kong, living in Hong Kong, will have a better chance to go into the Hong Kong ballet compared to the Hong Kong Chinese girls?
No, I think it depends on your figure and your attitude and your technical ability. I think it all has to be weighed up. That the Hong Kong boys are growing taller now.
Yeah, they are. But they're also
That is very
big.
good. They are growing taller, getting bigger. But I just feel that they should be on top, you know. They've got the backing of everybody. They go up 3 and come down 2, you know.
So, year after year, there are so many girls learning ballet, and many also sit for the RAD exam. So where are they after all these effort they have spent on learning ballet? They don't become professional dancers, so where are they?
No, but you know, when you send your child or you are sent to a ballet class and you're young, you're sent not to become a ballerina. You're sent for social, right? To be social. You're told how to sit up. You're told how to walk nicely. You're told to listen to the music, to move gracefully. As you get older, so you learn more. So it doesn't matter if you're walking down the street. You should still be holding your body in a very nice manner, right? Your deportment should be there. But, you know, I believe every child should have the opportunity when they're young, 5 or 6, to come to ballet for at least a couple of years, to learn to listen to the music, to be sociable with it, how to move gracefully, what is important. Also, it's a grounding for taking them to the theatre when they're older. They appreciate what they've done. I mean, I was at Elmhurst, and I think we were 6 or maybe 7 senior students when we left. Only 2 of us, one other girl and myself, Penny and myself, became teachers. 2 became models. Another one became an actress. Somebody went into films. You know, one I saw was the cover of Vogue magazine.
Wow.
Yeah. So it stands you in good stead for whatever you want to do in life. It's not, 1 out of 10,000 million or whatever becomes a ballerina. But all your life, you will appreciate that you have dance, you do enjoy music. It just, for me, it spells happiness. And I think if you listen to music and you see dancing and, you know, it's so sociable and it's just a wonderful life to know.
So, Mrs. Campbell, you believe every girl should have a chance to learn dancing, or, you know?
Sure, because
Have you,
for life.
but like in the 60s, back in the 60s, or even now, it's just a matter of degree. But going to a ballet class is expensive.
Oh, yes.
So
that
have you ever tried to, like, maybe talk to the government or offer some free classes so that more people can learn? Have you
No,
ever
but we
tried
do
that?
offer scholarships. Most schools, ballet schools, will offer a scholarship. most people, if they can't afford twice a week, they come once a week.
But that's
I
still
think
very,
most-
very small percent of the population could afford to do ballet dancing.
Yeah, we go to a school in Kowloon, which is associated with the Helena May, and we ask which children would like to learn ballet, and then we give them a little audition, and then we choose 2 of them, and we give them a year's scholarship, so they have a year to see what it's like. And one little girl came to us, did her grade 1, and she's just doing grade 6, because each year she has got distinction. You get distinction, I'll give you another year. And she's gone, right, and now
nice.
she's just got her point shoes.
How nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's really quite nice, you know. But yes, you can do that sort of thing. But this is why school's dance festival is so good, because every child gets a chance to dance. It's not ballet, but it's folk dancing.
Yeah.
And it's the same.
At least they get it.
Yeah, they get it. They get the music. They get the rhythm. They get the enjoyment.
Yeah, true.
You know.
Have you ever talked to the government and asked them to give free dancing classes to more school children? Have you ever tried it?
Me personally, no. But maybe they would. I really don't know. We used to visit quite a few schools. But it's very different when they come to class for ballet after school. Because it's like an extra school lesson. And we notice this because in the holidays they come to the studio and they all say, "Oh, it's a ballet studio, I like this," you know. It's different. That
They feel like at school it's just another class.
yes. So, but as I say, I think the folk dancing does, the gym PE teachers do that sort of thing. And I think it can develop from that.
But now there are much fewer people doing Western folk dancing. Even at schools, they go to do modern dance or the jazz dance that you don't like, but they don't do Western folk dancing anymore.
Quite a lot do. They do in lunchtime. Yeah, lunch breaks. Yeah.
Oh, because
Well, they must do if we get 5 weeks of it. You do 36 times 5. 5, 6 is a 30, 15, 100, about 18,000 children come to the
competition, to the
Yes.
festival.
yes. And I mean, they are the ones that are picked to do it. There must be others that join in too. That I mean, it used to be a case of in England anyway, if you went to a fair, the autumn fair or something, you would get Morris dancing and English country dancing and a bit of Scottish dancing, and everybody just joined in. Then it was all free to. But I agree with you. Ballet is expensive.
Yeah.
Because especially if you're on point, because the point shoes are terribly expensive.
Yes.
Yeah, it's but as I say, it's good, and if the children like it and the parents do it. But I think nowadays, children do too many things. You know, we have children coming, "Oh my goodness me, what's the matter with your hair? Oh, I've just come from a swimming lesson." Or, "Please may I leave 5 minutes early, it's a piano lesson." You know? It's very different now. That's why I say they're not dedicated like before.
There's too many.
But you have to move with the times, I'm told.
Yes.
And I think, that's not my etiquette.
No, it's just the parents.
Yes. They don't like it with a bit of discipline.
No, they want them to to be well equipped since they are 5-year-old, right?
I know. But,
yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think we have asked the question that we want to ask, and you have given us very good answers. So thank you very much, Mrs.
I hope you've
Campbell.
got some good answers.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much.